They know how to set up them webcams. They know how to make it look good. Look at Solar with all of his background trophies. And ShoWTimE has them in the back corner there as well. Game number 1 of the series as we get up and running. Hatchery goes down on the natural, the probe not there in time to play the blocking games as Solar takes the 15 hatch. And so that probe will just have to move on through to scout up into the main base and try some nibbles and nabbles to try and throw things off the plan. The probe continues to move about here a little bit, drone still on the move, Extractor getting cancelled. It's currently Solar playing with no gas, but of course he's still yet to put down a pool. He's still on lower end of supplies, so it's not super late for gas or anything just yet. It's just Extractor tricking off the 15 hatch before. And I'm sure we'll see gas pool in a few moments. Pool first. Well, actually going to go pool first. We're expecting gas to be a follow-up. Unless he plays completely gasless with the probe able to see that. Feels like you're just inviting the Protoss to kind of come in and do something that punishes that. There's the gas coming down at 135, so not super crazy. Just prioritizing the pool first. We'd rather get the link count going, etc. So nothing wrong with that. As that droney continues to chase the probie. Around we go for the moment. Off over there. Probe's still up on the high ground, couple drones trolling about and trying to see where they can get to, Nexus, Cybercore, etc. All coming in. The pylon and the assimilator coming up on the side of ShoWTimE as well. Continue to get that on the go. Cybercore coming up, Nexus coming in. Couple Lings gonna go try and grab themselves and attach them to the probe here as well. Just trying to again push back the information gathering that ShoWTimE is setting up with, utilizing that probe as best he can in the early stages. Yeah, those couple Lings will continue across, so action there. The Adept continues to shade around. The Ling's still down to the bottom left-hand side. Stargate coming through, a couple probes in the Adept, Wolfgate coming up as well. Hatchery and Creep Tumor continue to come in for the moment. Adept will cancel that shade. Couple Lings still nearby, Stargate still coming through. Will just be controlling out the front. Gonna send a little shade by once again. Ling Speed Queens and Lings still coming up. Lings back to the ramp. And again, the Oracle, the Adept, the probes, the Wolfgate, all the good stuff on the way through. Lings are still continuing into production here for the moment. Activates, just trying to get a little grab or so. I see the Oracle still pulling back down the bottom. Lings be coming up, a couple Queens are on the way. So trying to get a little bit of something on the go right now as the Adepts continue out and about. One inject, just going to go down. Queen's going to fire each other up a little bit, and we're just going to see a Nexus on the top side, 12 o'clock coming in as well. Oracle having a fun time, but a lot of drones are becoming spore crawls to avoid that damage and to avoid their death, so trying their absolute best to get out and stay out of trouble there. Oracle just dropped another little stasis ward down, and this one's going to catch half the mineral line, so ShoWTimE is going to find some really good damage. Oracle's consistent with trying to get something done, and finally it pays off for them. Do have the Adepts continue to shade about. Gonna move in towards this mineral line where some lings are gonna show up. They're gonna get a wrap around. Oracles are still on the way around. Queens are gonna be there. Oracles get turned. We will see the +1 attack, charge, gates, robo facility. All of that continues through for the moment. The Oracle's back up into the center. Revelation goes down. Queens get tagged in that as well. You can see that Zealot there. Sentry's getting in position. We do see the rest of the Lings moving around also. Charge coming up, +1 attack along with it. ShoWTimE just comfortable so far. Equal supply at this stage of the game feels pretty good for the Protoss. Just jumped up as a few roaches started, but we're still cruising around with these Oracles. We're finding more drones. Any extra damage just to slow Solar down that little bit extra. ShoWTimE continues to look as consistent as he has been throughout the entirety of the last few weeks, which has just been one of the absolute best forms we've seen ShoWTimE in a while, which is great to see. Unfortunately, we lose one, and obviously losing Oracles is never pretty because they have so much value to give throughout the game. Still moving around. Look at that cheeky Spire in the corner from Solar. That's a really cool move. The sort of thing where it's like, you know, I want to get a Spire up, I want to play into mutas, but the Oracles are doing such a good job scouting that it would be amazing if I could, you know, make sure they don't scout it. So going to try and hide it in the corner. Might just get away with it, and then if ShoWTimE doesn't respond to the fact there's a Spire on the way up, obviously that can run you into some trouble as well. So Solar trying to find a way to get set up into something a little bit different than the norm. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he's going to try and do it. Like I said, I think trying to force something like the Spire there would be pretty cute as the Oracles decide to recall out. Prism's going to take position in the main base very soon, although I think a couple units are already on the way over to try and deal with that preemptively. ShoWTimE just setting himself up for just in case of an attack, stack, defense, etc. But again, that's the issue. He does not know that this is actually setting up to be a Spire, right? So if he knew this was a Spire, he might be a bit more active on the map, pushing already. Solar is banking up money, ready to build a bunch of mutas all at once. The Oracles, you see the roaches, but I mean, it's not that many. What point does it kind of click in your brain? It's like, well, you don't really have as much stuff as you should do at this stage of the game. And that be something that ShoWTimE figures out for himself, or is that going to be a little bit tough? I mean, to be fair, now the mutas are already going to be popping. The Prism might give you a slight heads up on the mutas. Even just a few seconds extra notice can sometimes make a bit of a difference, so that's one thing we can kind of maybe lean towards happening here. Prism continues to move through. The Oracles turn around. They drop a little cheeky Revelation down as well. He's going to fly in toward the main base. Going to be seeing a Stalker. Going to be in some trouble. It's going to get knocked down. A couple of extra Stalkers coming through as well. And as the mutas continue to get blasted. Some mutas taking quite a few shots. Stalkers still trying to go back at it. And the mutas continue to do very well for themselves right now. Just going to see the Archons coming back over. 12 probes going down currently. We do see some Zealots showing up on the main base, so they're going to start getting into some action. They're going to start finding some value as well, seeing what they might find for themselves. Archon's chasing, the Mutalisk continue to get hunted down. So the Muta's getting pushed. A few of the Muta's turning around, hitting that pylon for a couple of moments as well. Phoenix coming about, +2 attack coming in, more probes and cannons all coming up. We've seen the Archons getting there and actually going to blast those mutas, so it's a big round of damage dealt. It's still coming around. Just going to be seeing the Immortal Zealot Archon coming about too. Just going to take position, a couple shots going back the other way. Middling is on the way up still from Solar as we get more and more of this on the go. I love that these Archons are trying to zone out those mutas, and we're getting to some of those Phoenix that might be able to help us along the way as well. It's going to turn back around. We do see again the extra Phoenix in production. As we build more meters, the commitment into any amount of Phoenix is going to pay off for you as ShoWTimE. And this is a continued commitment into Mutalisk. We are absolutely continuing to build those. And ShoWTimE is absolutely good to build more and more Phoenix. Any Phoenix is a good Phoenix right now. As we do lose one, unfortunately. It's also the scary thing, right? If you do let these Phoenix kind of be, then the mutas will turn around. They can pick them off in the smaller numbers. No doubts there. Flings and Roaches still coming through. Those few Zealots getting cleaned up as well. We have the Baneling Nest on the way from Solar. Has 24 more Lings, 3 more Mutalisks on the way out. Can these mutas keep on causing enough trouble? So far, honestly, I do not feel like they've done enough at all. ShoWTimE's holding a comfortable 4-base situation. He is building up into, well, he's pretty much maxed out. I mean, he's on his way to Storm, which is only going to be a major help as well. So this gets better and better for the German Protoss. And Basilisk, in my eyes, are heading towards a victory here, unless Solar can start changing this up a little bit. Phoenix kind of fly through, and again, a little bit haphazardly. I mean, obviously at the point where you could have said maybe even a second Stargate would have been good, but ShoWTimE didn't have confirmation of that, and it's such a big investment to make without knowing. Now, might actually be worth it, but we're still doing okay, just moving Archons about, and the rest of ShoWTimE's army moving around is actually a bit out of position for the attack up the right side. He's actually going to come around on the other direction, trying to punish it for kind of going up there. Catching some of those units. The mutas still turn back around. Would love to see how the rest of that fight was going on the map, but the mutas are going to dive through. The Archons and Phoenix together are pushing this away, and it does feel like Solar having to rebuild just a lot of the same. ShoWTimE keeping a lot of his tech units up. Cleaning out Roaches here is obviously extremely effective for him. And as long as he has enough anti-air to fight the Mutaflock if it came above his army. And that's where the Archons come in. 15 new mutas on the way as Solar goes big on the rebuild. Still committing to this. Still trying to cause trouble. Going to go after the Stargate, actually. ShoWTimE has nothing in the main base right now. Oh, 2 Stalkers blocking the Archons as they all try and fight up there at the same time. That Blink still coming through. That +3 attack still coming through. Archon, Immortal Stalker, High Templar coming around the Mutalisks. Pushed around that left side again. So many mutas flying overhead. Archon's taking some big shots. Archons from the other side might be able to soften up some more of these Mutalisks. I mean, that's the thing. Once these mutas are hurt, they have to fall back for a while. This is ShoWTimE's time to go, I think. Mutas are in regeneration mode, so you just push. Right now, the mutas should not be able to do too much counterattacking. Yeah, a couple of units come into position, and immediately those mutas have to turn away. But then, you still have to have units here, so maybe there's a world in which you have too much out on the map and not enough back at home. Mutas get a cancel on the Nexus, kill on the Pylon. Stalker going to be there as the Lings are going to come wrapping around. There's just no way those mutas can fight these Archons. There's no way they can fight those Archons. Phoenix and Archons going back as well. Once again, still playing the defense. ShoWTimE trying to figure out if he can genuinely get across the map or not. Setting up some more forward stasis wards. Still playing the patience game. More High Templars coming up. He's getting himself another Phoenix, Blink, and Shield upgrades. Everything that ShoWTimE feels like he needs to keep improving this situation as the mutas again going to dive through, going to spread out a little bit to minimize what the Archon's going to get done, and that's going to be a better fight from Solar. Obviously, the Phoenix still not in super crazy numbers because we've only been on that single Stargate. And even then, we lost one of those Stargates as well, right? So the one on the top side only making 1 Phoenix at a time. In the end, Blink is done, and these Stalkers can start to be a big aid in the defense as well. That mobility that ShoWTimE just hasn't really had previously on the ground is now available. A few more mutas coming about. A couple of these probes going down as well. 2 probes getting shot at. Nice storm on the Mutalisk. Great second storm on the mutas. Again, that's where the value is at for ShoWTimE. Moments like that are huge. 4th base still held stable. The 5th base denied. That's the big deal now, as ShoWTimE cannot get to a 5th, but it's possible he wins this without a 5th base. It would be much better if he did just get to a 5th base, though. That's obviously what Solar is playing for, trying to stop ShoWTimE getting to base 5. If he can do that, there is potential for obviously Solar to just outmine and then to, you know, really make this work. He does, once again, finding themselves in a precarious position here. Phoenix It's going to be firing up. A couple more of those meters taking shots. Again, how many times can Solar replenish the Mutalisk? Well, again, so far he's mining a lot, so for quite a while. ShoWTimE going to make a more consolidated effort to keep this 5th base alive. Should have maybe had units over to the left. Know where the meters were coming from. No storms available here, so the meters flying through. Going to see some success. The Phoenix are a little bit late to join back up with this. Now there's just a little bit of a lack of anti-air on that portion of the army. The meters are really committed here, however, and maybe a little bit overly so. The Phoenix actually survived through this as well. Felt like a lot of dead Mutalisks as we jump back onto this base. Stalker's now blink underneath to protect it. A couple of Phoenix are going chasing. More meters, more lings in production. ShoWTimE is actually going for a bit more of a push onto creep and onto the map in general right now. The meters are still going to be counter-attacking. Does ShoWTimE go and deal with it? Is he going to? I think he's going to stick to this push. He's going to leave the Phoenix to actually grab a meter or two as they try and come back across. The Phoenix actually doing a great job against those meters right now. Does ShoWTimE have enough anti-air on the army? I feel like he lost a lot of Archons and High Templars, but haven't really seen if he's got many with the army right now. He's got 3 Archons. I don't think he's got any High Templars for Storm here. But he does, of course, now have Stalkers, and the Stalkers have Blink too, which obviously helps. Going to get rid of one base already. The Mutalisks are going to need to gather up and absolutely utilize themselves with the Lings here to make a difference. As we're going to see the Phoenix showing up as well. The Archons are not part of this fight right now. A couple of them are just off over to the side. Those Archons would love to be here. Please, Archons, take a bit of a role in this. Do something extra. They are just sat there fighting structures still. ShoWTimE, though, looks as though he's going to be good enough. There's not enough meters to fight off the Immortals, and that's GG. ShoWTimE is going to get it done against PHR8, so they really should just have a pretty free run from here. That obviously means that they have a good chance of just finishing, perhaps even towards the top. Vitality have to play Liquid, which is a bit of a tougher matchup as well. There's a chance for Basilisk to maybe still top the regular season, but it really comes down to if they can see success. If Liquid can see success against Vitality. So we'll try and figure that out at some point. As we kick off into game number 2, ShoWTimE is up a game. Great stuff from him, as it always felt like he was controlling those meters, but there's always that moment where, like, you don't get your 5th base up, and then your economy's kind of missing from where it should be, and things just get a little bit messier than they ever should have been as well, right? There are absolutely scenarios where things can just go completely wrong on those efforts, so good to see ShoWTimE able to kind of rein it in and to bring it on home for himself. Nicely handled. Pro comes across, gonna go build up a Nexus on the natural. Of course, Pro's Youth has this in base, so we'll see nothing too crazy happening for the early few moments. Going to be fairly chill for a little bit, in fact. Overlord's moving across the other side. Again, Nexus, of course, Simulator all being brought up into play for the moment. We get that up and running. As we coming through, the Stargate and the Nexus on the way, the Adept still coming up, Warp Gate building as well. Got all of that settled in here for the moment. And Adept still just moving through. Gonna see the other Adept moving across as well. Still trying to see a little bit more of what's going on. Wing's gonna go around, chase the Adept a little bit. A drone gets killed, did not become a spore in time. Good stop from ShoWTimE. He's gonna stop the. Oh, I love that. Love that. He hit the next drone, so he didn't waste a shot on the drone that became a spore. He knew it would become a spore. So the spore went down anyway. He hit the other drone, and then the drone was stuck in the minerals, so it didn't have the free space to become a spore crawler itself. So he gets himself a kill there. That was just good preemptive thinking. Oracle still coming up. A couple more queens coming through. We settle ourselves down. Link's still heading down the bottom left. We will see the Adept's going to shade about a little bit. Oracle going to sit overhead. Queen's going to get there once more. Just going to push that Oracle back a little bit. Do have our Oracle still chrono boosting out of this Stargate, so just getting another one on the way up. ShoWTimE with those Oracles was great in the last game early on as well. He was finding so much damage throughout the early stages. Just like this, you kind of tap in, you get a couple drones, you pop out. Just was consistently finding moments where he was able to utilize the effectiveness of those Oracles and really make the most of them, so absolutely great to see that. Couple Oracles still moving over. The Queen's going to be there. Push the Oracles down again. Just going to have ourselves the Oracles coming back over that right side. And might get one more drone kill. It's just another little drone picked up. Blair coming through. Ling's melee upgrade. All building. Also, the Oracle's going to get a couple more drones on top of all the rest of it here. Still looking great. Ling's gathering, Adepts, Stalkers, warping on through, +1 and Blink on the way out. Currently still establishing ourselves here as a couple of Extractors come in as well. The Stalker's going to be there to push those Lings back. So Lings do get chased away. Oracles will activate. Queen will take a little bit more damage. Actually going to get rid of that Queen, so that's going to be a nice catch. That will go down, and the rest of these Lings are going to come across over that left-hand side, running into the third base. Stalkers and the Adepts get there. Lings get turned away. A couple of drones get taken out. Infestation Pit will go down, because we still have the melee upgrade about to finish up. Cool, Oracles still setting up in the top right. Obviously, flying through and toward the main base. Storm on the way from ShoWTimE. It's a good map for Zerg because you get that gold base. You can get a lot of bases easy, but yeah, the Protoss is also never afraid to be like, oh, cool, you know, a good base setup for me. 3 bases nice and easily. Protoss can even try and take that 4th as a gold. That's when Solar would probably want to up the ante a little bit and try and put the pressure on to try and stop that from just coming through freely. If at all possible. Oracle's activating, and a couple more shots come about. And Ling's still going to seep back out onto the map once more. As the Stalkers warp in. Cannons and batteries continue to come around here. The Queen just going to be moving around. The Stalkers, and the Zealots, and the High Templars making their way about as well. As 7 Swarm Hosts come in, so Solar with a completely different style of play here, choosing the Swarm Hosts as his option now. Getting that up and running. Oracle's still moving about. Just got Lings and our Roach still coming in. High Templars in the middle of nowhere. I was going to say, likely going to get surrounded by the Lings. The Storms get rid of most of the Lings, but they had to become Archons anyways, and we did lose 1 High Templar, or 2 High Templars already. I mean, as you lose 1, the second one can't become an Archon, right? So then it can't protect itself. But I'm actually on a little bit of a push here. Actually going to come all the way across the map onto the creep spread even for a second. Oracle's still about. They're going to be important. Maybe try and track those Swarm Hosts a little bit. Keep an eye on where they might be moving to. If the Swarm Hosts are alone without support, the Oracles can activate and maybe get rid of one of them as well. So options abound as with a single Zerg trying to find out what's up. ShoWTimE trying to figure out how he defends this forward gold base, because he needs to be in a better position than he's in right now. He comes around the left side, but now the Swarm Hosts come from the right. So these Locals are going to drop in. We might just have to lift, well, or run these probes away immediately. Storms continuing through. The Locusts do get eaten up by the Storms, so for the most part, the Locusts don't do much. I don't see pretty good defense from ShoWTimE. He will chase down the Roach Ravager, which on its own is not that powerful. The Roach Ravager here really wants to benefit from the Locust being in front, the Locust being traded out, and the Roach Ravager will sit behind and be the damage dealers.
Does get an Archon here as we
do currently just kind of bully our way forward. A couple of good piles. That's a nice storm in return, though. Still coming up. Those Roaches still being turned away. Oh, nice stasis. Actually going to catch some of those Swarm Hosts. That's interesting. Not going to get caught up a little bit. Here's one more storm comes down on the ramp. Few Locusts just pop across over toward the main base. Then going to drop off there in a second. The cannon already taking some hits. More a couple more storms coming about as well, so they're just going to go through too. Another round of Locusts is going to drop off also during this. We do have our army still pressing forward. The Locusts dropping in once again. Just going to get ourselves a couple of the pylons picked away at. See a couple of queens going to get hit as our Stalkers will move forward. Going to get rid of one queen, two queens. Going to turn around for queen number 3. Just going to see a few more Locusts dropping into play. They're just going to go pressing forward as well. And ShoWTimE still trying to stay strong in this. Look, the Stasis Sword is catching the Swarm Host once again, taking some of the power out of the Swarm Host push. That's a beautiful storm on top of a lot of the Ravagers. Ravagers keep coming through. We just need to make sure we got some storms left over for the Locust, though. I mean, it's not loads, but we're not landing any on the Locust just yet. ShoWTimE pulling back, still hitting Roach Ravager with the storms. Obviously, that is providing you some monetary value in terms of resources lost. Is that good enough? +3 attack. More High Templars coming through. The Prism coming in. The Lurker then still coming up as well. Coming about, just going to be seeing the Stasis Sword coming up as well, a little Revelation coming through. The Stasis Sword has definitely been a major help throughout this so far, and a couple more just trying to soften up the numbers here available for Solar. ShoWTimE's army supply is getting large each and every time these two start fighting. Oh, that Stasis Sword just off to the north. It was a bit further south, would have caught so many more of these Locusts. But it was good enough. Only 5 probes lost, and actually ShoWTimE on a chase down again. Hydras don't even have speed yet. Locust drop down. Maybe one Archon falls. Yeah, one Archon. Getting good there. Oh, that storm was completely misplaced, and ShoWTimE activates all of his own immortal barriers. As he's actually going to end up pushing and clearing back a whole bunch of creep with this, and he's definitely starting to navigate through the onslaught provided to him here by Solar. Playing through, Overlord goes down, Hatchery going to be jumped on once again. I mean, this gold base is just going to drop. I mean, this army of Solar does not currently have the strength to fight through this. ShoWTimE showing us just how good he is at the moment. In StarCraft 2, he is very, very good. It's such a shame that when he goes to the eSports World Cup, he went through that open qualifier, which was brutal. And when he goes, he will only have one life. He will play a single best of 5 to stay alive, and if he wins, he has to play another to stay alive. That knockout bracket is going to be absolutely brutal. Obviously, he earned himself a bunch of money simply by qualifying, but it's going to be a rough time, because I actually feel like the majority of players he could play against, he has a good, an okay shot at. Just sad that you'll only ever really get one go at it. Comes firing, Ravager's going down. And the gold was nice. Obviously, it wasn't fully mined out. So it's a nice step in the right direction as few lurkers get burrowed up. Some Ling Hydra going to come across as well. With a storm, a couple more Hydras getting cleaned out once again. And the Locust dropping down. The Stalker's in trouble too. 3 Stalkers going down immediately. Locust will unburrow and relocate themselves. Swarm was coming about also. Seeing those Stalkers moving about and just having ourselves a Lurkers still in position once again, trying to see what else it is that they can do. Couple Lings chasing forwards, chasing around a little bit here. The Archon's going to push forward once more, and in they go, trying to do as much as possible. With Lurkers out, ShoWTimE's got to take maybe a bit different approach to how you fight this, right? I mean, the Lurkers can provide such a good, strong standalone defense. It's a wild game because of the economies, 46 to 56 workers. I actually think I'm very worried for ShoWTimE with the economies getting to this stage, because now with Lurkers out, it's going to be tough for him to really trade well enough, and he's not really got the economy to rebuild. So I actually think it's going to be very tough. Loses that forward gold base. Is going to try and re-expand to the right-hand side. It's been a scrappy game, but I think Solar has just about got a better arm around it than ShoWTimE does here as these Lurkers burrow up again. ShoWTimE has a massive split of units, though, and they will go across the map, and they find a base immediately. To be fair, Solar doesn't exactly have many bases left right now as ShoWTimE enters something of a base trade. Gonna storm. Oh, honestly, if he had his army like a step further forward, he might have been able to fight these Lurkers. He actually decides he can do so anyways as the Lurkers unburrow and try and relocate. Yeah, a few of them on this bottom side will get taken down. ShoWTimE will take any fight he can. No, there's one Lurker that can't be seen right now. ShoWTimE has to deal with that. Otherwise, he's just taking free damage, but he's got Swarm Host and all the rest of it pushing on the other side. There's the Revelation. He will deal with this Lurker. Here come the Locusts over here. Do not believe we have a Storm to soften up those Locusts. That's going to be a lot of DPS output currently available for Solar. Is it good enough? ShoWTimE coming back over here. Solar is really not mining much at all. As drones get stormed, they're going to have to be careful about coming back to mine attemptedly on this gold base. 16 minutes in, so the initial bases are really running dry. ShoWTimE has no additional base coming through, though. And this army get cleaned up. He's going to need a Revelation or something here. He mass storms the Lurkers. The Lurkers take a lot of damage. ShoWTimE is going to clean up a lot of them. Now the rest of ShoWTimE's army from back at home defending is going to come across to take part as well. And come back through. Revelation comes in. We blink forwards. We clean up a bunch of Lurkers. The Swarm Hosts are arriving from the bottom. From the south, can they take a good enough trade? We start a runaway with the Immortals. We blink with the Stalkers. We actually get on top of the Swarm Hosts with the Stalkers. We'll take a couple of those down, but mostly I think we just want to get the hell away from the Locusts, because now that's a supply that's taken up for Solar that's not actually currently able to fight. Army pushes forwards again. 7 more High Templar just got warped in by ShoWTimE. He will deny this gold base. 3 bases each is what's available to them. Man, I'm impressed that ShoWTimE withered down that Lurker count, because that looked terrifying a few minutes ago. That Lurker count was absolutely huge. ShoWTimE just can't get a Nexus up to save his life, though. ShoWTimE doing a great job of that. I see our Zealots and our Lings getting chased around a little bit. All units down to the bottom here. Army's still setting up. We do have ourselves Stalkers and Immortals coming through. Locusts are going to chase forward once again. Locusts will just land to try and fend this army off and trying to corner it a little bit. ShoWTimE try and take the left base that isn't the gold, so it's not quite as centralized. I wonder if that actually works for him. It might be a way for him to get that base up and to actually have another base to mine from. Solar is re-establishing the triangular fourth, so we'll kind of take that. That's going to be tough for ShoWTimE to attack into if Lurkers are set up, because that's a very choked up base. Actually going to try and lead into it some Immortals right now. So let's hit the right-hand side, and a few Lings just going to meet those, but the Lings will do okay there. We actually get rid of a lot of the Lurkers that were in position initially. This hatchery will go down. Huge cancel, huge kill from ShoWTimE. Massive to get rid of that in this moment, because that is Solar just delayed once again from mining properly. Well, the Lings are going to show up, though, and ShoWTimE I don't think is going to be able to save his base, so it's a base for a base once more. 4th bases are not allowed here in this final game of the day. ShoWTimE and Solar will just continue to trade blows against one another. And it's wild because Solar, in theory, has a very efficient army, but ShoWTimE now has a very teched up army that kind of cancels out a lot of the efficiency that Solar once had. Don't disruptors do really well against lurkers? Yeah, but you can't build disruptors in this game. Because disruptors are terrible against the locusts and the swarm hosts. And you've not had enough economy to build a Robobane to start building disruptors. And you need multiple disruptors to really be effective at all. There's no way ShoWTimE... Like, yes, by now maybe you could have done, but the game would be very different if ShoWTimE was sitting back and not building anything but disruptors. So you could never really get into that in this game. So unfortunately, well, in most scenarios, pretty good. I think in this case, you just can't actually get there. Very mobile game as well, and disruptors, don't get me wrong, it's not like all of ShoWTimE's army is mobile, but disruptors do lack mobility too. They trail when they get, there's been a lot of kind of chase downs and stuff, and that's exactly when locusts can kind of capitalize. Storm there, just going to soften some locusts up, but really just don't want to spend anything on this. Just don't want to let the locusts get any value, although maybe you have to, as the locusts land looking for a cancel on this base. And a couple of Archons will take some shots. We lose an Archon, but we keep the base alive. ShoWTimE will gain access to the gold, as Solar is about to get his own 4th base up, but ShoWTimE having a gold means his income is about to be booming. With only 37 workers in a low eco situation, having a gold available to you right now is so valuable. Obviously, Solar utilized his gold base early. He had the gold base earlier on. He mined a lot of it. It's not even worth him re-expanding there right now. And so he does not. Lucas is going to come forward again. The storms will soften them up. Again, you got to use those storms just to make sure that these locusts are not going to be in scary enough numbers. Come through and try and stop any probes going down. Couple zealots full. This is fine for ShoWTimE. Some energy, couple zealots. Very allowable trades against swarm hosts. That is the benefit for Solar right now on these low eco situations, that the swarm hosts in theory should still be able to trade. Well, sometime, however, he gets them caught here. Storm goes down. We kill a couple of them. Yeah, great. Any swarm host you get rid of, right? Suddenly they're not being efficient any longer. And that's going to take away some of the power that Solar's been playing with in this game. Mortal Stalker still gathering up. Units still moving around a little bit as well. I love that ShoWTimE finds these moments to split up parts of the army. It's not the kind of game where you expect him to be able to do that. This time it's a 5th base getting cancelled, but hey, that's better than your 4th getting cancelled. A few mortals showing up. Those lings will be going down, so at least we pay the price. Uh-oh! No! Okay, the locusts don't have enough life on them to kill the base. It's close, because locusts are like that, right? Even if they don't have a lot of time, they really pump DPS. So an undefended base can drop extremely quickly. Time just wasn't quite quickly enough. I'm killing off rocks, just opening up the map a little bit more. Wants to take the watchtowers. We never really talk about it, but yeah, the watchtowers can't be taken until the rocks are cleaned out on post-youth, so ShoWTimE will take the watchtowers and try and use that as a way to just keep track of what's going on in the game. I don't hate it. It's been such a one of those games where there's been a lot of counterattacks and everything, so it makes a lot of sense. 28 probes, 42 drones currently. Solar's army supply larger. And I would say getting better as well, because he's adding on a lot of lurkers, where obviously beforehand it was much more swarm host heavy. And I actually do feel like we're past the swarm host phase of the game. Locust will be there again, pushing back a little bit. Locust is going to drop in towards the base. Nexus just about survives. Locust pushing around the right-hand side. We will see Nexus coming through. More Locust burrowing up. Hatchery still coming online here. More storms coming through. We're seeing those Immortals still firing, a couple of Lings coming about as well. We've seen some of those storms coming about. The Mortals are going to fire up. These Locusts will not do much, so they're kind of arriving a bit haphazardly. ShoWTimE has a split army around the right side. He needs detection, though, because those Lurkers are in position. There is going to be an Observer available here. Lurker's going to try and get the flank on this. ShoWTimE turns onto the flank. More Lurkers trying to close the distance. Storm's all used up. Observer still available. We do knock down a couple more of those Lurkers, my goodness. Good fight from ShoWTimE. Sorry, excuse me, my voice is giving up. Just a question of, can you escape away with these few units as well? ShoWTimE loses his gold, but he does have the other base on the left side now established. 25 minutes in on post-youth. This game has become a certified banger of a game. But just for certain, as our Locusts drop down, so they're going to drop straight in here. We are going to see a recall on a group of these units. Immortals, Archons getting chased away. We do see the Locust going to jump onto the Nexus on the left-hand side. ShoWTimE will find this base from Solar, though, and Solar's not exactly mining from anywhere else, so that's a massive amount of Solar's economy gone. But can ShoWTimE fight the army? I actually wonder if Solar just pushes. If ShoWTimE hasn't answered that any longer, I just don't know if he's strong enough. I think Solar might have just mined a little bit too much the last little while. He's just got so many Lurkers. ShoWTimE needs to be careful. Units are trailing forward. He's going to keep on trying to attempt the base trade. Threaten units to run through constantly here. Keep on trying to find some moments. Zealots, Archons, Immortals all turning back away. Mortal Archon High Templar coming back through as well. It's just repositioning, deciding what we're going to do. ShoWTimE getting caught, and I think this is the problem. I just don't think he can win this fight anymore. Hell of a game, but GG has to be called, and Solar is going to take it down. A very difficult game.